Right. Okay. So
Sophia, can you also tell us which hat this second one is?
yes, sure. If you wait a second, I'm just going to tell you. So first,
Okay.
let me show you the measurements of this hood we have created. We are going to work today with. And yesterday, these were the measurements yesterday, and there is just one correction. Maybe is it more visible like this, but I'm going to read it as well. So the length was 32 centimeters, which is going to stay the same. If the length of your hood is a little less, became a little bit less, that's fine too, because then you will just fold back a little less. The width is going to change, and so it was 35 centimeters. And that was quite a wide, quite a big width here. So we just would like to reduce that for more or less 33 centimeters. And then we have another measurement down here that is the more or less the base of the crown. So that's going to go around your temples and your forehead. So this area, I'm going to show you which one is that. This area is measured from about 10 centimeters from the top of the crown, in the middle of the circle. From the top, you measure 10 centimeters down, and then around at this length, you measure the width of the crown. So that should be more or less 25 centimeters. It can be a little bit 1 centimeter less or more is definitely not a problem. And even if your measurements are a bit off from this, what I have given you, I explained yesterday that you are going to be able to refold it and fold it a little bit more and make some adjustments also even later on. So the truth is that before you fold the shape, at least in a sort of rudimentary way, you will never know for sure what your measurements should be. So that we are just guessing now here. But if you stay close to these measurements, then I think that's going to be fine. So so Marlene asked if I could show. So the base of the crown, the measurements for the base of the crown is measured the following way. So that is going to be 25 centimeters wide, but you measure it if you start measuring 10 centimeters from the top, and you go down and you measure 10 centimeters is about here. And then you measure this width, where my finger is moving, that's about 10 centimeters away from the top of the crown. That should be around 25 centimeters wide. So most probably your, or at least the shape I have given you yesterday was definitely a little bit wider here. So if you are just either doing this kind of movement to get it smaller, you can also, if your whole hood is extremely wide, then you can just make the accordion things and just go like this. And I don't want to shrink mine too much because it's almost already too small. But if you just need to shrink this area, then that's going to be fine. So interesting thing is, you see the shape of this hood. So it is, we had a larger bump here. So if maybe it helps if I put back the template again. So it's like this. And so this larger area is, so here the bump is a little bit lower. And here we have a curve on this side. This is not such a prominent curve as this one, but it's still a curve, and this is a little bit higher. So this side of the hood should still be curvy, still be like, but this is definitely a larger curve, and this is a smaller curve. But if I measure my width along this line, so you see it's coming in a little bit, it's going inward, so it's not coming down straight, but it's going inward a little bit, this shape. So if I measure the distance here, then it's going to be 32, 33 centimeters for me. And if I measure it a little bit higher, sorry, this is too high. This is also 32, 33 centimeters. Sorry, it's about 32 for me, but I just did the accordion thing. So if it's 32, 33 centimeters wide along these lines, then you're going to be fine. So if you are going to, so if you would like to make sure now that you full it down to these proportions, then we can start the fulling. And meanwhile you are working, I'm just going to do a quick recap from the most important points of yesterday. So especially for the people who are joining now for the first time. And also before actually we do that, I would like to ask from people who are joining. So I can see my participants now, and some people are joining without a name and without the camera on, and I cannot identify you. And so could you please either switch on your camera and make sure that I know who you are, because there are some iPhones and iPads, and I just basically don't know who you are. So this is really important for me. Otherwise, I have to remove the people whom I cannot identify. Sorry about that. So it's really, really important that you give me some kind of, so don't join with just it says iPad or iPhone and no name. So I would like to know who you are. And you can just also switch on your microphone. And I'm going to do a quick check on our participants today so that let me see the gallery view. So I can see your, okay.
Sophia.
Yes.
Sophia, this is Dilek. I close the camera, but I don't find how I open. Maybe you can see my
I can see you, Dilek. I can see you, and your name is also on the screen. That's
okay, thank you.
fine.
Okay.
No problem. I'm just going to do a quick check, because yesterday we had a couple of people who, well, I don't know basically who they were. So I prefer to know, who's attending, but I can see now everyone. Okay. I think, yeah, so I can see even if I can't see your name, I can see your face. So that's really great. I can see you. Just another quick check. Yes, wonderful. I think it could have been the reason that some people joined from 2 devices. That's possible. But now I can read everyone's name. So thank you so much for that. It's all cleared up. Wonderful. Okay. So meanwhile you are working, let's just do a little recap of yesterday's, sorry, let me switch back the front camera, FaceTime camera. And so you can see me again. Yeah. Okay. By the way, did you have any questions for me, urgent questions that something went wrong? There were some issues that you would like me to help you with, then I would really love to help. So just let me know. And Jerry, I see you putting up your, yes. Could you unmute yourself and then?
Yeah,
yes, great.
I'm unmuted. The measurements you just gave us for that first, was that for the hat from yesterday?
No, that is what we are going to do today. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yesterday's hat was a little bit big, so I leave that up to you if you are going to shrink your hood from yesterday's hat a little bit more. Okay. So you could, if you think that hood is a bit too big, but for most people it was. So my suggestion is that it should be a little bit smaller than that paper cutout I give you. But right. You will only know how that works for you if you make it for yourself. So this right. is really, and you can shrink it down up to the measurements I have given now. Then you are okay. Still going to be safe. So stay within this range of what I've given you today and what I've given you yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
Sound good? Okay, you're welcome. Okay, and any more questions? Okay. So the one thing,
Sophia?
yes.
So I would like to ask a quick question. First of all, thank you for yesterday. My first hat, I have a lot of work to do on it. But what I really appreciated was the screen about evaluating at the end of making the hat. And so my question is, you made it very clear that we don't change the fulling method, but one looks at the template or the layers of wool. If I wanted to make, because it was quite a lot bigger and it felt quite chunky, is it better that I reduce the template slightly or fewer layers of wool? If that's too big of a question, I can ask an email later, but this
No.
is my curiosity about evaluating at this point.
You are reading my mind, I think,
Ah,
because this is what I was going to talk about. Very good question.
I
Very,
will unmute myself then.
oh, that's okay. Very important question. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. By the way, I'm reading I know about you, Andrea. Thank you so much for letting me know. It's not you. You are fine. I know who you are. No problem. Thank you so much for letting me know. Everyone is identified. It's perfect. And so, okay. So I'm going to get there, and I just want to say, Michelle, that your question is a very big chunk of this class, what is going to come a little bit later on, and it will take you quite some time to figure out, and I'm going to guide you through this. So this is really, we are going to talk about it, but I'm quickly going to give an answer to that, and or a suggestion. So what we wanted or sorry, just one more thing, because I want to start with that, because a lot of people ask this question. We don't rinse out the soap the entire time of the making of the hats, because we are constantly changing things, we are shifting shapes, and we are kind of doing micro manipulation movements, and we need the soapy water, we need the slipperiness. So if we need to add back water, and we are still fulling the soap, rinsing out the soap happens when you are finished with all the designs. And I suggest that you take a couple of more days, even after today, you take a couple of more days to perfect your designs, and then you are going to make exact stitches where your folds are, and maybe make very good photographs from the front, from the back, so you can refold your hat again. But then is the moment. So when you're sure that's it, it's perfect, this is how I want to keep it, then you can rinse out the soap. So obviously you have to open your folds and rinse out the soap. And then all you need to do is let the water drip out first. And then you just basically, once you have all the water is gathering at the bottom of the hood, I suggest that the bottom is the opening. Then you just squeeze the opening of the hat a little bit, which will make it a bit smaller, but not that small that you cannot switch it back or stretch it back again. And then I usually roll it up in a dry towel and just squeeze it a little bit to take out extra water, but the wood needs to be wet, not just moist when you are shaping it, because if you are working especially with bergschaf and a little bit thicker felt, it's going to be impossible to make beautiful folds if your head is half dry. So after you rinsed out the soap and your hood is still wet, then you make the shape and then you just let it dry exactly the way as you intended it to be in that shape, and then it will stay like that. The drying will take several days in some cases. That's okay. We have all the time, right? So we worked so hard to create these beautiful shapes. Then you have 2 more days to wait till it's dry. So you don't touch it meanwhile it is drying. You just leave it like that. You forbid your family members to even put a finger on it. I usually have enormous dramatic moments because of that. So someone touches sometimes I dry my hats at home and then some family members just touch it and then I just scream. Usually nobody is allowed to touch it. Just leave it for 2 days and then it's going to be perfectly, once it's dry, your shape is going to just hold. If you have a good quality felt, but you have, I'm sure you will have after this workshop. So this was about soap. Sorry, just put the other, go out of gallery view. And so, okay, a quick recap. The most important lessons from yesterday is that number one is that folding and shaping a head is not a one-off process. It's not that you do the layout, you fold your head and then you shape it and that's your head. No, we are working with a different method right now, a method that allows you to be more precise, that gives you time to think about your shapes and correct mistakes and just basically make your designs better and better. So the process we were working with is that we fold a rudimentary shape, a kind of intermediary shape. We check how the material is acting when we are creating a particular design. So do I need to reshape something? Do I need to work on the structure of the felt? Then we are doing some adjustments on the shape. So I'm doing some micro fullings a little bit. It has to be a little bit tighter here. Then we do a little local fulling, micro sculpting. I've shown you different ways to do this. Then we fold the shape again and check how this looks. We block it, we even out everything. If it's necessary, we do it once again. So this is like an organic process. It's not a one-off thing. I have shown you different various micro fulling methods or micro sculpting methods yesterday. And those were specifically designed or the purpose of those methods were to get rid of excess material, especially in between folds. So when you are creating mountain folds and more folds in a head, so these designs, they all work with kind of circular folds. And once you create a mountain fold, then there's always a negative fold is created. So we call that a valley fold. And usually a mountain fold, for a mountain fold, we need more material, and for a valley fold, we need less material. But naturally, if we just fold a hood, then you always have equal amount of material. So usually at the places of the valley folds, we have to shrink the felt down a bit more to be tight in the valley fold. And in the mountain fold, we need to stretch the material out to become more prominent. And so because of this, we have these micro fulling methods that has to be done after you folded the head, and then you will create these beautiful shapes that are tight from even, wherever you look at it from every direction. And so usually a mountain fold we stretch out and a valley fold we shrink. And if you are not sure where to shrink the head after you have folded it, and you just, what I usually do is I just put a couple of stitches, the area with a different color than the stitches I use for marking my folds. I put a different color thread at the stitches where I need to shrink the material. And then I open everything, and then I shrink the valley. I shrink horizontally and vertically as well. And you saw the methods I was doing yesterday, but you can just, even with palm rolling, you can do it, or with just locally doing these tiny movements on the areas where it's necessary. Okay. I also showed you how to shrink parts of the hood. If you need to shrink down a little bit of the crown, how to do that. We did it with the hand, putting this part of the hand on a small area and so on. So you can just combine these methods and refine your shape as much as you can. And the other thing we talked about, which I really find important, is that we have a layout method, and this is to answer Michelle's question. One size doesn't fit all. Okay, this is really, really important. So when I give you a layout recipe, I give you the layout recipe that works the best for me. And even for me, it doesn't work always well, because wool is a natural material. It's created by nature, and nature is not a machine. So every time I buy wool, I get different quality wool. This is especially true if you work with bergschaaf. Bergschaaf is not a type of animal. It is a collective name for a lot of different types of sheep, of wool from a lot of different types of sheep that live high in the mountains. And so they develop this coarser wool for protection for the weather. But what we call bergschaaf, it's coming from all over the world from different types of sheep. So you never know what kind of mix you are getting. And one time I get a much finer mix, another time I get a rougher mix. Now, if you work with Corriedale or other down type of wool, because some of you have asked me if you can substitute your wool, and I said yes, because it's always good to try how that works for you. But at the end, if you have the possibility to get bergschaaf, what is officially called as bergschaaf, then I suggest or I recommend that you use that and not other substitutes for that. So as I said, this layout method with this template, so every design has its own combination of a layout method or a layout chart, a special template, and fulling methods. I sometimes change certain things and experiment what could work better for me. Maybe my felt came out too heavy, too rough, too there are just many different things you would like yourself. This is why I told you that after you run the first cycle, which was yesterday, so you made you fooled your head and you folded the head, write down the characteristics, that the features that this specific layout method produced, and also write down what points would you like to change, or what would you like to do differently? What kind of characteristics of the felt you would like to change, or any result in the shape. So then we have to go back again to this path I was drawing yesterday, and I said that you can do three things. You can either change your layout method, or you can change the template, or you can change the fulling. The fulling, I told you, do not change that. That stays, because I especially created this, not created, but this is a sequence of fulling that I use always for these shapes, and I can reassure you that works. So if you follow that method, please don't change that. The two things you can change, either the template and the layout chart. Now, the thing about this is I really strongly advise you, don't change the template first. Go the third possibility. Change something in your layout chart. So what happens if you, for example, change both? So then you will never understand or know what went wrong. How can you, if the specific fiber combination works for you or not? Because if there is a scientific experiment and there are three parameters, three things you can change, you can only change one at one time to understand what the result how the result changed, what changed the result exactly. So if you change two, you will never know what was the problem. So just change one and don't go with the template yet. Let's keep the template as it is, but change the layout chart. So what can you change with the layout chart? And once more, I'm just telling you, for the entire time and in the future, you will have access to me for 2 weeks after this workshop. So when you are experimenting, you can, it's very difficult to understand what you have to change when you do this the second time. So it's to go back that path, as I was drawing on the whiteboard yesterday. You don't know what kind of elements you can change. So this is where you have me. So if you tell me your requirements or your points, what you would like to make better, then I can help you think with you together what kind of elements we can change in the layout chart. So the following things you can change in the layout chart is very obvious. So if your hood came out very heavy, then I would say that you change the amount of fiber, the quantity of the fiber, you reduce the quantity, and you reduce, for example, 100 grams to 80 grams. And very important that you do not change the ratio of bergschaaf and fine merino wool. So don't reduce only the quantity. So if you reduce the total amount to 80 grams, then you still will have to use 25-30% Bergschaf and the rest of the layout merino wool. So don't change the ratio, but change the total amount of wool, what is in the wool bank. So at one point, maybe you can experiment changing the ratio, but the specific layout of these hats needs to produce felt that is light, because because of these circular folds, the felt should be light. And I'm surprised that some of you ended up with heavy hoods, because mine is really, really light and thin, not the red one. I made the blue one you see me making on the video, that is just very, very light, and I could create those folds beautifully. We will use it today, actually, that wood. But if for you is really too thick, then just reduce the quantity of fiber. The other thing is, if you if you end up with a very pebbly structure or felt that pulls together very much, that's usually always the Bergschaf that does it. And if you have a type of Bergschaf, as I said, you never know what kind of Bergschaf you get. But when you during fulling, you notice that the felt pulls together very tightly, and you immediately, the merino is becoming pebbly and rough and uneven, and you have these clumps of wool, then you can substitute not one layer, so 2 layers. We do it always by 2 layers. If you add another type, another wool sort, you always do 2 layers of that wool sort, not just 1, because you have 2 directions always necessary. Then I suggest that you try 27 micron merino. And I know for sure that Wolknol has it. I also know that there's a Dutch supplier, but very few of you are from Holland, so that's the Werneking wool, although I don't know about the quality that well, but I know that their merino wool is 27 micron. And also Wollust, that's a German supplier, I think, that I have put in the material list, the link of this supplier. If not, then you can look it up. It's Wollust with 3L, I think. So like WO 3L and then like UST. But it doesn't, if you're not in Europe, that doesn't help you. So DHG, I think DHG has it, I'm not sure. Anyway, 27 micron merino. You just do your Bergschaf layer, maybe, be careful, a little bit thinner. No, sorry, that's confusing information. No, just do your usual Bergschaf layer. Then the first layer that you would do immediately after it, I think those were the diagonal layers. So you lay down a diagonal layer of 27 micron merino, and then you add your next layers of merino wool. So we just substitute 2 layers of merino wool with 27 micron merino. I usually almost don't see that as merino wool, because I find it too rough for merino, but officially it's still merino wool. So that type of wool will slow down the shrinkage a little bit and make your wool also stronger, but it will be a little bit more sturdy, the wool, but can work very nicely. So this is, for example, my suggestion. Now you have a layout chart that is not filled in, at least I think so, right? I think that I sent you a Word document that is not filled in. So you can also make your own layout chart. The important thing is that whatever layout you are doing, you always write it down step by step, just the way you read the layout chart you received from me. You calculate always everything to be as precise as possible. And on the back of the chart, you note your results. So what felt results did this layout chart produce for me, and what were the negative points and what were the positive points of this result. So in this way, you were going to find the best layout method for yourself. And whatever, if I just quickly check, So this was the most important. So these were the most important points we were talking about yesterday. And this is also important that you understand that you have to, it's up to you to find your best layout chart, to create your best layout chart, and always start with mine and then build up from there, because you have to start somewhere very concrete and then build it up from there. And once again, one size doesn't fit all. What works for me might not work for you, because you work differently with felt, you lay out the wool differently, your hands work different, your fulling is different. So find your own perfect fiber mix combination. So those of you who are not sure about why we're using bergschijf. Bergschijf is an amazing material to make sculptural felt. So felt that can be stretched out and it's basically reinforced concrete. So concrete part is the merino wool, and the reinforcement, the metal structure inside, is the bergschijf. Bergschijf gives elasticity. Merino wool gives density to the felt. And there is this switch that goes from density to elasticity. And that's so the more bergschijf you use, you switch you push your sliding thing, I don't know what's it called, like not a switch, but like a volume towards elasticity. The more merino you use, you slide back towards density. So this is, you can play with this, ratio. Imagine it as a sliding volume thing that you can slide from elasticity, between elasticity to density. So these were the most important points about yesterday. So we did one design, and we did a lot of horizontal folding yesterday. And today we are going to continue working on that hood, but we are going to shape shift this design, and we are going to a little bit rearrange the things, the folds we have done, and create another design. So I'm going to put it on the picture. In just one moment, I have to find my oops. I will share my screen in a minute. Oops. So many buttons. Okay. So this is the design we are going to create today. And my hood became a little bit smaller than this was originally. So the folds will become a little bit smaller, but the folding method I'm going to show you will be exactly the same that produces this design. So, and then, oh, sorry, the next design I wanted to show, but I will show it after. Let's just concentrate on this one first. So I don't know if you have now the right measurements. Can we start, or do you want me to wait a little bit more? If you want me to wait, then you have to just unmute yourself and say. And if no one says anything, then I will just continue. Sorry, one more thing before we continue. So we have just talked about the layout chart. Just to finish this last section, we have talked about modifying the layout chart, which is now up to you. But then we are also going to talk about a little bit template construction and template modification, but that's not going to happen today because so that's going to happen in this next coming 2 weeks, and we have a follow-up session on the so 2 weeks from now on Sunday. I am going to send you all this information, and we are going to talk about template modification then. And I also going to give you a method how you can create your own template based on this template, but it's going to be something that totally unique to you. But so this is a little bit more advanced level of this workshop, but you will only be able to do this or get these materials from me if you are showing me 2 finished designs that you created. And so it's going to be like a video game. So I don't know, not many felt makers play video games, but I'm sure you know how a video game works. So you have these different levels in a video game, and you have to collect some kind of points of rewards to be able to go to the next level. So this is how this works as well. And the reason for that is not because I want to be mean, absolutely not, but I do not want to bombard you with too much information when you are still busy with the basics, with you know, getting your designs right. So that could be a very bad idea to start about template modifications. And that's why I suggest that you do not touch the template for the time being, just concentrate on your designs and the layout chart. So you have to, I mean, you have to send me to, either you can send me 2 photos of your 2 of your finished designs, and those of you who completed that can go to the next level. So that's really, really important. I'm sure that all of you will be, and your designs don't have to be perfect, okay? So that's not just not, don't concentrate on, don't try to achieve perfectness. Even you can be dissatisfied with it. The point is just that I can see that you are busy with it, that you are trying to make 2 designs, because it's really, really important for me that you don't just start but finish this course as well, because otherwise it's just, you know, it's just a pity that you don't go through this whole process. So I'm going to tell you exactly how this will work later on anyway. So this is just something I wanted to share with you before we get into shaping. Okay, we're going to go to the overhead camera now. And my lights are kind of, they are different today. So I think I'm just checking the camera. Is this light enough for you? Because on my screen, it looks very bright, but it might be different for yours. So I've done a little trick today. So this is a leather, how do you call that, brooch that my grandmother made as a child. So it's really about 100 years old almost. So I just used it. So at least it's a letter R, and her name was Rosalia, sorry, in Hungarian. And it's from her. So she is with us a little bit today. But the reason why I did this, because where you see this brooch is the front of the head. So we are going to turn it, you know, a couple of times when we are creating the fold. So you will always know what is the front and what is the back, okay? So we start the beginning of the shaping process exactly the same way as we did yesterday, but there will be some modifications. So I am going to just fold a little bit inside the head. I'm just going to create this base, folding it in, and I will tell you exactly how tall my hood is right now. So if I measure it from the crown up down to the bottom, it's about 26, 27 centimeters tall. So if you are in that range, then you are going to be fine. And then probably you remember from yesterday, I still have this line from yesterday's hat, still visible. We are going to create a slightly diagonal fold, which starts from here. You can see this line probably, but if you can't see it, I just put another thread here. So we are going to create this first fold, and this is about, I think, about 6-7 centimeters from the bottom, And this is about 10 centimeters high from the bottom. And so we just do this like that. And this is the big bump of the template. Also, I'm going to put the template shape on it, so you will see how, not on it, but under it, sorry. And actually what I realized when I folded this head, the dimensions are slightly bit smaller than what I showed you on the photo. The head I showed you on the photo looks nice when you kind of look at the photo, but I found it a little bit too monumental. So this version of it is going to be just more wearable, I think, and proportionately nice. So I advise you to stick to these measurements I've given you. So now I'm going to flip over and we are going to continue this line at the back from here. So this is the big bump and then we're just flipping it over. This is the back of the head. And now I'm going to go down like this, but this time, well, not this time, sorry, yesterday. So we are going to go back to the baseline, completely finish here on the side. So just.
Sophia?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's
No.
Deborah. Is this yesterday's hood or is this the smaller one?
What do you mean yesterday? It's the same hood, but it's
So
a little bit smaller.
Is it the one that we used yesterday?
Yes, but it's smaller. Now
Oh, right.
we shrank it a little bit smaller.
I'm with you now. Okay, thank you.
Do you want the measurements?
No, it's okay. I just got a bit confused.
Yes. So, okay. Just a moment. What confused you? Because that might be others be confused as well. So just want to know what confused you.
Yesterday's hood, I shrank it a little bit more to fit me with the
Yes.
Big Mama design. But then today I've made a new hood, which is smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So that one I should be using, the smaller one.
Yes, that's the one you should be using. So
thank you.
You're very welcome. So that's a good question. So for everyone, if you have two hoods, then one, the bigger one, you should, yesterday you had one hood. Sorry, I just started all over again. Yesterday you made a hood or the day before yesterday. You used that yesterday. And if you don't have a new hood, you can use the hood from yesterday's head. You just have to shrink it down a little bit more. Now, if you have a new hood, that should be a little bit smaller than yesterday's hood, and the measurements I've given you in the beginning, and just so that you know, these are the measurements once again. So instead of 35 degrees as the centimeters, the width, we are working now about 32, 33 centimeters. And the rest is basically a little bit almost the same, except, well, I know that mine is a little bit less wide here around the crown. I hope it's clear for everyone. So now we have to flip over the template as well. So this is the template shape. And now we just continued this line just going down to the bottom. Now, if you place this on your head and you have two little bones sticking out at the back of your head, right? These two round bones at the nape of your neck, is it called? So it's still attached to the skull anyway. So this is going to be, we are going to mark, yesterday we marked this area above our ear with a pin. Now we're going to mark another point, but that's behind our head. I don't know how to explain that little round bone at the bottom of your skull, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I will put it on my head and show you what I mean.
It's the occipital bone.
Occipital bone. Oh, thank you so much. So if I just put it on my head like this, ooh, you have this. It's a little bit funny, this thing, but at least we always know what the front is. So I just make this fold, and you see it's still quite wide because this is basically the widest part of the hood. And then on my right, so this is my left-hand side, and on my right-hand side, you just above the occipital bone, you just basically grab your hood and don't let go, so you know where exactly that is. And I'm just going to take off, and we are going to put a pin there just to mark that area. So that's for me. I'm putting the camera back. That's for me here, more or less. Not more or less, but precisely there. Just marking it with a pin. And so this was this fold. And now we are going to do this operation we did yesterday to make the spiral base. You just turn it like this and push this part where the pin is inside the head like this. So the edge is just going, so this original fold is going a little bit deeper inside the head. You can see from here, it's like that. And then just squeeze the two folds together. Make it even more sharp and stretch it out a little bit and just squeeze them together. And this is how it should look like. So this is how the base of your head should look like. This is the back. This is happening at the back. And then I turn it around and you see it from this direction as well.
Sophia, it's Lisa.
Yes.
Could you run that? Could you run through that again, please?
Sure, yes.
I was fooling mine a little bit more, so I missed it, please.
Yes.
I missed the measurements, actually. I'm so sorry, that first one.
The measurements of the hood, you mean?
Of the very first folds.
Ah, okay, yeah, sure.
I'm so sorry, I missed it.
No problem. We go once again. No, that's absolutely fine. Okay, we just start once again. I fold I just take this away because I think now it's for everybody clear that this is the big bump at the side, right? That's not necessary to have the template. So the height of your hood after you have folded in a little bit for the base, for the edge, it's 20. I also forget about 27, 26 centimeters. And then we are going to change the first fold on the right hand side, the area, the distance between the edge or the base and the first fold is about 5 or 6 centimeters. No, sorry. Yeah, 6. I would have said 6 centimeters, and here 10 centimeters on the other side. And then we fold it back, and then you don't have to measure anything. You just bring down the fold basically almost completely till the edge here. So that's easy, right? So far, so good. Now we have measured, then we have put the hood on our head, and then we around at the area of our right occipital bone. If I say, maybe it's totally something else. What Jerry said, the bone, what Jerry just mentioned. So that I know where it is more or less. So we put a pin there. So that's here. Okay, so this was the area, and then I'm just going to push this, simply just straighten the fabric out till I can like this. You see it, and I pushed it inside the hood, and you can see the fold, the original fold still, where it was, and then just flatten everything out. I find it hard to find the right words for this in English, but I hope if I show you, then just understand this. Is this clear for everyone now? So once again, it was like this. This was the fold. This is the place what I want to push inside the felt. Hold it like that. Go inside like this. Straighten out everything on this side. And then basically this baseline stops here. But maybe there's also a different way to do it. It's basically a spiral that starts from the inside of the head and it's becoming finally the edge of the head and becoming our first layer, first fold. So I just flatten this out. Still looking it doesn't look neat, but we will work on that. This is the front, and this is what we have at the back. Okay, so I'm going to go on. So once you have this, then we are going to put it on our head, and I will explain once again what to do with this fold on the left, because we just created this fold from the left to the right, and we continued on the right hand side. We went down, but we didn't continue this one on this side. So you see it stops here at the side, and if I flip the hood over, then it just stops. So we are going to continue with this fold, and this is going to be our second layer, and similar. So we're just continuing the spiral. And this is going almost in a straight line and coming back to the front and joining our first fold. And this is a little bit easier if I just put it on my head and show it on my head, because you know, you don't have a reference point like this on the hood if it's laying down without a face, without a person inside it. So just tuck everything away neatly. And so sorry if I turn it around for a moment, then you see this what is happening at the back of the head. So this is what we have at the back. So as I just explained it when the hood was lying flat, so what we are going to do is we go on, we continue on our right hand side, we continue this fold and at the back of the hood, and just go straight and come out here and continue on the front and just join the fold back into this first big fold, okay? Or just kind of lead it a little bit parallel along and then stop. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to continue at the back and just stop here, bring it forward and just join into this first fold. But I made a little mistake. I don't want to join yet. I'm just very smoothly want to kind of lead it a little bit parallelly to this fold and stop somewhere here. It's just basically just the fold stops. Sorry, I have to take it off otherwise. Yeah, just put it back again. So that's it. I'm just stopping here, and I tuck it a little bit inside behind this first fold, okay? And then I want, this is just a tiny small fold, and I just want to make it much more prominent. And I'm just going to take a little bit more material, and here as well on the front, and just, you see, just pulling it a little bit out and making it a little bit wider. Just grabbing basically more material. And also at the back. And I keep this at the moment straight. So it's not turning up, it's not turning down, it's just straight. And I have a little bit more material here, but we'll just come back to that later. And then continue. So how does the back look like? I'm going to turn really slowly so you can see it. Okay, I hope it was visible. And now what I'm going to do, we will work on this a little bit later. I just turn this a little bit towards the left. And what I want you to have right now is these two layers. One layer kind of gently disappearing into the other and not going down like this, but kind of, you see how just gently, almost parallelly going with this fold and kind of disappearing nicely into the fold. This is the way how it disappears. You see, it just stops here. It's just getting really small and then it's getting widening here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to support the belly fold here with my fingers and just pull this more out. It's really just pull hard on the felt. As you see, it's widening and it's becoming wider, this area. Just go a little bit. I don't really worry about the back yet. There's nothing to do except that there's just one line and I'm just pulling a little bit in this opposite direction to stretch it out. And I don't want this part to be visible. So later on, we are going to pull this up, this area up. So we hide this area where the second fold or the end of the spiral is going back into the original fold again. So and this is actually quite interesting. I think I'm going to switch on the big light because it's getting a bit darker. So just 1 second. Yes, so we have some extra light. So now we have all this volume on the top. So we are not yet straightening out the top. And before we go on, I would like to put it on the block. And if you don't have a head block, then you could actually consider just pulling it down completely on your head. You will not see anything, and just make sure that the top of your head touches the crown, because I want to kind of even it out. So we are going to do something with it. So I'm just getting my head block. My top is quite rough. It's pulling together with all this manipulation. So I want to kind of smoothen it out. And even stretch it a little bit. It's getting tighter. We do this just at the crown area. And just very carefully take it off the head block, which is going to be quite difficult. It's okay if the shape of the crown is now going out of shape, but we have straightened and stretched out the upper surface, so we can easily go back to the. I will put it back on my head. And from this point on, we will be able to do two different things. So maybe I can remove this pin now because we know already what's back and front. Okay, so yesterday, Lynn suggested a brilliant thing. So why don't we make the top flat? So some of you maybe don't like a round crown head, and originally these designs were round crowns. So I just suddenly thought about a solution, how we can make it, how we can make the design flat on the crown, or at least create the illusion of a flat crown. And the first solution is to create the illusion of a flat crown. So we are not going to literally flatten the crown, although it could be possible. But then you need a flat crown head block, and the crown will be quite tall. So I have too much material here. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to put flatten the crown and create a little fold on top of the crown. And that will give us really immediately an interesting shape. We will refine it a little bit more. But I really, really like the idea, and special thanks to Lynn for the suggestion, because now we are going to go this way. So this is one part. So up till here, these two folds, both of the designs are the same, but this is going to be the flat crown version of the design. And so once you created a circular fold at the back of the head, so it's just a very simple circle shape on the top of the crown. So it's nothing complicated. I suggest, so it can look really nice if you can do all sorts of things with it. But what really could make it even nicer, if you don't do it with equal height from here, so you make it kind of turn down on one side, and that's going to be this side. So I'm going to make the fold here lower, closer to these folds, and here it will stay the same height. So I will just, you know, push down. So I push a little bit more material inside the crown and just make this fold get much lower. You see what I'm doing, how I'm doing it? So just push inside some material. Just do this. And that will lower the crown a little bit at the back as well. And then we have created this lower crown, which is actually really, really nice. So now we still have a kind of a round crown head, but it really creates the illusion of a flat crown. And so I'm going to also flatten out the crown even more than that. Show you how to do that. Just want to make these circles really nice. So I want you to pay attention at this area. So we have these two folds. This is the circular fold on the crown, and then we have this second fold, and they should here almost join. They should be really close to each other, because that gives a kind of a beautiful rhythm to the design. I don't like my glasses pushing this away like this. Okay. And you see this shape getting created. I'm turning it a bit like this. So there are not so much heads beside me, but a gray and so you can play a bit with this shape. You know, you can go even higher on this side and lower on this side to straighten, or keep them close together, these two folds. So there are just lots of possibilities to do it. Just do some shifting with the folds. So now I will, actually one more thing I'm going to change, because I like to reduce a little bit the height here. So just check for the proportions for your face and what looks nice for you. So now we will straighten out. So this is at the moment quite round, but I'm going to straighten it out a little bit, and I'll show you how. And I need the other camera now. So this is how it looks from the top. So you see that the depth, this circle that I created here, the depth of this circular fold is very, very different on around the crown. So this is really, really deep here on this side. So let's see, this is the front. This is the front. I just destroyed it with, just collapsed it a little bit. And on this side, it's about 5 centimeters deep. And on this side is not even a 1 centimeter deep. So this is really nice. It gives you kind of a disbalance. And so I would like to just straighten the crown a bit. If I need a bit more. First, I will put it back on the head block. Just make a bit more roundness on the crown. And then I just turn it upside down and place it like that. And all what I need to do right now is just do this motion with my fingers, just trying to basically push all the material from the center. So everything that was here around dome shape, we push this material towards the side. And so actually I'm not doing this because it's your fingers are not strong enough for that, but I'm using this part of my fingers to push the material towards the side. And also use my thumb and this part of my finger and just doing this. And now with this motion, this whole area I flattened out completely. And just make it even more flat. And I don't want to make these folds sharp, so I just leave them like that. And if you turn it back, you see how the crown flattened out. So we have created at least the illusion of a flat crown. And so you usually, if you flatten out the crown, then you need to have a little bit higher dome because this will take away a lot of material. And if this is not a lot of material, but it will shorten the height of your crown. And so if you put this on your head and it's too short, then it will the shape of your skull will push this back again into a dome shape. So for that, for flattening the crown, you need a little bit of a taller head shape. And so let's just quickly. Just want to quickly check how it looks. Just back to the other camera. So it stayed actually quite flat, as you can see. And I will slowly turn around. So actually I did have enough height for this operation. I really quite like it with the flat crown. So I will just slowly turn around to show the back. And I didn't have, normally I would now take a mirror and look at myself at the back, and then I take it off my head and just work some more on it. So because this is not the final stage of the design, we are going to go on and we will just get the original dome shape back of the crown, and we'll continue from there because there is another version of this head. So we'll just push this out completely, and we will only keep these first 2 folds. So we go back to this original state, and we only keep this first spiral fold that comes back at the back, goes around your forehead and comes back to the front again. So the next step I want to do is I just want to quickly block the head, because I don't want to have these folds.
Sophia,
Yes.
there are 2 questions in the chat. People would like to see the inside of the hat because they think that their fold is a little off.
Okay. I'm going to show you inside. Thank you so much. Just first. Okay. So then I will need to put it back on the overhead camera so I can show it to you better there. Oops. So if someone thinks their fold is off, then I can take a look at it. That's the best way to figure out what went wrong. Just quickly take a look at the chat. Just quickly answer the chat, okay? So yes, I put a lining in sometimes, but not. I don't like a lining because it's stopping the felt from breathing, and also instead of a lining, I put a sweatband inside the head. And yes, your head has to be wet, really wet, not just moist. It has to be wet, but not dripping from water. The wetter it is, the easier it is to shape. So the measurements of the first fold is 10 centimeters and 6 centimeters on the other side. That's correct. So I'm just, if you have a problem right now, if you think you are lost, then it's better if you just show me your result. And if maybe you already straightened it out. And let's get this right, because it's really, really important. Let me just check the gallery view. So just put up your hand if you have a problem so far, okay? So I can identify you. Evelyn. Okay, Evelyn first. Come on, I just put your spotlight.
Okay.
Yes.
I started with the first fold, and then when you turned it inside, I got confused. So I didn't continue. So that's.
Yes, that's your back. That's the back. Okay, that seems the first fold seems fine. Can you turn it back again?
Then I didn't know anymore how
have
to continue.
Yeah, so you just have to grab with the higher part, which is now higher. So that's your, just put away. No, not there, not there. Just take away both of your hands and just grab the higher part with one hand. That's the lower part, the other side. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's left or right to you. So that's what. And just continue that fold. Turn it a little bit upside, up. Yeah. So that will be easier.
Sophia, it would be easier if you changed your camera view so she can see your hands.
No, that doesn't help for me because that's very confusing. So I think the best thing if I just guide you now, and you can just continue with the hand that you are grabbing the hood. Now go around your head, and just continue with that line straight. Bring it back to the front. Just continue straight and bring it back to the front. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do it like this. Okay. So I think you are missing this part on the inside.
Yes, then I got confused.
Yes.
I couldn't
Okay.
follow anymore.
So if I think the best would be if you just take it off your head, or just turn it around.
It's now.
Can you and just show it in the camera? I can't see it because the camera. Yeah, it seems to be that that's the part you just take it away and then just bring the whole head closer to the camera. But also that I can see the whole picture. I see just a portion of the head. I don't see the whole head. Now also just where your face is.
It should be. This is the front, I think.
Yes, but I cannot see the whole. I just see a portion of your of the head. Can you see the head in the camera? Yeah, that's right. Now I can see it. So I'm going to slowly turn it around. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you got something wrong. This is the back of the head. Yeah. So I'm actually holding it like that, how you are holding it, except so this is for me. Let me see. I don't know how to change the picture. So this is for me. This is my right hand, and this is my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have a fold here that's starting. You see this triangle?
Yes.
This is actually the. Let me see. This is the back of the head. So I'm looking at the back of the head now. So I'm starting here with this fold is just starting, coming out of nowhere. And it's just going, this is the edge of the head. It's going towards the right. And then sorry, I can just come back. So this just is a complete circle here, okay? I think this makes it a little bit easier. So you start here from the right, and I'm going towards the left. And I'm just continuing here with my fingers. This is a complete circle, so I can just move my finger around it here. This was our original fold. And then suddenly from here, from this point, a new fold is starting. You see, so this is my left hand once again, and I'm just going here. And then these two folds, they are splitting. There's just one going along the edge, and the other one is going high a little bit here, higher till about 6 centimeters high on this side. You have that?
Let's continue this one.
I cannot see what you're showing because it's not in the picture.
I have to
But
continue this one.
that's something off. That's not. I think you have to redo that again. It's just not exactly
Maybe it's
the same as
better.
what's
I
on.
rewatched the video and
Yeah,
then I will
maybe, but
continue.
I'm once anyway. I will go through this once again, so to make sure that everybody has this.
Okay, thank you.
fold. Sorry about that. No problem. But you'll get there. So okay. So now I made this entire circle, and then this is the back of the head. Now I'm going up I'm just making basically a spiral. So you can also see it like this. I'm starting with the spiral here. I'm going around one time, and then I'm going up. This side on my left hand side is 6 centimeters high, and then it's going. I flip the head over, and then it is going even higher. It's rising, and it arrives at 10 centimeters high. And then I flip it. Now is the second layer of the cycle of the spiral, and then it goes back again. This is the second layer, and it goes kind of straight, goes all the way to my left hand side, and then I'm just turning it, flipping it over once again, and then here it joins back to the original line like this. Does that make it clearer for people? The 10 centimeter measurement, asked Naomi, is not on the bulging side, but on the flatter side, to answer the question. What were the measurements of the first fold, 10 centimeters or second? I don't know what you mean by first fold, so second fold. Then maybe it's better if you watch back the recording to I think to answer, but I'm going to just start once again. So what I want you to realize and make sure, even if you don't make this turn, what I did here. So this is the back of my head. This is the bumpy side, the big curve here, and this is the smoother curve here. So we fold back already this much. So we have folded back already. And once again, we have this just circular edge, and then you start somewhere here, and you just go up and create a fold. And this is the bulky side, and we are here about 6 centimeters high away from the first layer, the first fold. Now I'm going to flick. So this is the back of the head. Now I'm flipping it over. And then I continue on the front, and I come from here just with a slightly, a line that is going slightly upward. And then I just continue with this till here on to the side. So now this distance I should have on this side is about 10 centimeters high from the base to the first line. Then we go another flipping over, we continue flip it over, and then we just continue this line also a little bit going upward, going high. And if you want to know the distance between this fold and this fold, it must be also about 10 centimeters distance. And then it will continue again on the front. So we are turning it one more time, and it's going on the front, but now it's joining back to the original line, like here. Okay, so how does that work for you, ladies? Evelyn, did you follow?
I have to rewatch the
Okay.
video because
Okay.
My problem starts in the beginning, so I have to rewatch it. But thank you.
Okay. So is this clear now for everyone? Are there other people who are confused? So I'm just a bit surprised because yesterday we did this too. So this is almost the same, except that this line is joining back to. So did you have problems with this yesterday? Maybe it's a little bit complicated because we have this line that is coming back. It's like a spiral that basically comes back to itself again. But so if there are just quickly look at the gallery, I can't see people putting up hands. Okay, so I'm just going to continue, okay, ladies? And if you are getting confused, don't worry about it. Just watch the recording and practice a little bit. And if you really can't do it, then we'll figure out something else. And I'm going to put it back on my head. Just a moment. Just straighten it out a bit. Oh. Oh, oops, I should take you off the spotlight. Yes. Okay. So now we are. So what I would like to know now, there is just one single step to away from the final result. Joining this. So I want to get rid of this huge bulkiness on the top of the head, okay? So what I'm going to do is I will just make a fold that is not completely horizontal and not completely, but also it's just going across my head. So it's somewhere starts above my right eye, and it is going across my head and ending up behind my left eye at the back of my head. So I just signal the position of my, so it's going across my head like that. But it's not, you don't have to be very precise with that. The meaning of this fold is that you tuck away the material. So I just start here. And just create a fold, tuck away the material. The most important thing is that when you arrived close to this fold at the back, then you just tuck the new fold down there in that valley. So you continue, I will show it to you from above. I will put it again in my head like this. So this new fold is kind of on the side. It's a half circle. It's kind of on the side, and it's kind of starting somewhere above this eye and going a bit in a circle line, going in a circular line, sorry, going down on my left side, joining this fold and going on behind that fold. So I will do this also with the overhead camera, just straightening out this line. And this is the rudimentary shape of the head. And before I really kind of straighten it and pull it out, I'm going to show it to you from above. So just straighten it again. So this is, now you are looking at the front of the head, right? So this is my face would be here. So let's just put back that little brush so you know for sure that this is more or less the center of the face. So this is center position of the head. Once again, so this is the center position. Just showing it to you like this. So once if you are watching this back, then these lines should be very, very clear where they run. And now I will show you where I will put this line. So I have the circle here where I'm going to put this new fold, this diagonal. It's a little bit of a diagonal fold. So I will somewhere start here. This is more or less above my right eye. I'm just going to start here, and I will actually first lay out like this. And I will go around the crown a bit like this and just end on the left side. So just coming from the right side, going to the left side. If you have this on your head, this is what it should feel like. And you see this fold is going to be a little bit deeper. So it's not across the center of the crown, but it's going a little bit lower, closer to this back fold. So I will just show it here as well. it's not a big problem if you place it higher. So this is, we are going to play with this, how we can reposition this fold to make the dynamic, the balance of the head more interesting. So just make it doesn't matter the exact location of this fold, but just make sure that it somehow starts a little bit on the always your right side, and kind of this half circle is going and joining down, going down here on the left. This is how it should look like. This is my left side. And this is the part where we have these two. So this is the part of the bigger curve here. Okay, so the bigger curve is here. I will put it on my head. And just straighten things out a bit. I want this line to join this big fold here to the front, so not just go parallelly or with like continue, don't continue it here, just let it join the big fold, just tucking everything away as much as I can. So the nice thing is that you can just tuck all this material into this fold. Also here, just make sure that you, that you tuck it, just lead it down here in the valley of this fold and just tuck it in like this. Also on this side. So these are actually, looks, if you look at the head, these are quite simple steps, but it can be quite complicated, especially to get them right. So it will, I guess that it will take you a couple of trials to complete this, or at least to get that right. So what I'm going to do is the next step, what I like you to do to experiment with is just, we are going to shift a lot of material. I have a lot of material tucked away here on this part of the crown. We are going to shift this material from the right towards the left, and that will make this fold here a little bit wider and more pronounced. So just grab a little bit of the material and just bring this down more, tuck it inside in this part of the head. This is like a little finishing touch for this design. And also it helps if you kind of roll this fold in this way. Sorry, the other way. You roll the fold with your hands a little bit more. You reposition it basically to move it a little bit more towards the left. But even if you don't reposition it, you can just get a bit of material, shift a bit of material towards the left. And then I'm just going to straighten out these folds to make it more pronounced. And so the nice thing about this fold at the back, this half moon, is that I can raise it a little bit, pull it out higher, because I still have a lot of material there. So I'm just going to support the crown, and I just push this a little bit higher. You see that it's raised now, and it has this nice angle. Just tuck it away here. Against this other ornamental side. And I will in a minute work on it more on the head block, so you will see it straighten and become more kind of neat. Everything will become neat. So what I'm doing is now I'm just basically playing with it, that you can open this side or make it a little bit higher, so that these two folds on the side are closer to each other. You can raise this fold a bit higher, so that will raise this area of the head also higher. So you can see. You see, if I turn it to the side, it's like this. But I can also push back, tuck more inside, so it will be a little bit lower, so it's not so incredibly visible. I really like it kind of half raised. I really like this half moon feeling and idea. And basically that is the shape. You can also wear it a little bit more to the side. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how to straighten out the folds. And so if you are not really following the lines that I have that I have shown you so far, then you will have also the fold pattern of this shape, which exactly shows you the lines where you have to put them and fold them. So that is going to make it easier, but together with those lines, you will be able to fold it once you know the system, how you have to fold it. So you have to follow these steps, even if you have those marks exactly where the lines should be. So who is having success with this shape?
Do you want to see, critique mine, Lisa?
Yeah, I want to see. And critique, I'm not going to critique you, but just give you advice. And who's speaking, by the way?
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa. Wait a moment, I have to find you.
Oh, I actually put my name on it. It said iPad 3 last time, or iPhone 3 or something.
Oh, no,
Michelle.
it's okay. You are not on my screen, so I'm searching for you. Yes, I can see you. Hi, Lisa. Okay. It's spotlight. Ooh, super nice. Ah. Okay, so you got those folds right. Wonderful. The only fold that is for you different. Yes, very nice. The only fold that is different. Could you put your camera in a way that I can see? I see you now from above, and I can't see the top of the head. Very nice. Yeah. So yeah, you can't put your camera higher, right?
Oh yeah, I can pick it up.
Oh yeah, if you could, just a second, so I can. Yeah. Yeah, so could you also, yeah, now I see only half of your head, so.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, beautiful. It's one thing, one more time, go a little bit higher again, or otherwise take the head off and show the top for me, so I can see, yeah. So the only difference for you is that on the side, the fold on the side, on this, not on that side, but the opposite side. Yeah.
Needs to be higher.
Could come a little bit more to the front.
Come more to the front.
Not that fold, the last fold, the half circle fold we just added the last.
This one?
No,
this one.
Yeah, so this could come a little bit more to the front, but maybe you don't have material there anymore. So that's
Oh
fine.
no, how about like that?
Yeah, something like that. I can, yeah. So I see you only, yeah. So it could come a little bit closer, only now the most important thing is that you lead it back to the first fold. You don't, it just kind of finishes at the bottom
Oh,
of
okay.
your head.
So
So just lead it back to the first. But I love, because your folds are very dramatic, especially this last one, and very deep. And I like that dramatic effect.
So more like that.
Yeah, but I can't see the top now.
Oh,
Just no, that's fine. Yeah, more like that. Yes.
so it disappears. The tail of the snake disappears into the valley.
Exactly. Yes, the tail disappears into the valley. The great way to say it. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Beautiful. So what I suggest with you is just still play with this shape a little bit more. So these are shape-shifting hats, and you can do all sorts of manipulations. So you see my fold. So I have a little different position of my fold than what you have.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I have more, I think that you have, so you change the position of the fold here. So you have a big one, you placed your fold here, and I placed the deepest part of my fold is on the other side. So you can change the position. You can play with a little bit of with the position of this third fold, this last one we put. It's just a suggestion, but I love what you did. And you don't have to stick to this. I mean, it's not that you have to follow the steps exactly what I'm showing you, but just create your own. I'm giving you ideas, and just create your own shape. It's completely fine to deviate from this recipe.
And that's what I did with my origami. I completely changed it, right?
Yeah, but it's exactly the idea. So yeah, I love what you did. It's really nice, and you've got the basic shape right. Absolutely. So
this Bergstop really stretches, doesn't it?
Yes,
Bergstop.
That's the point. Yes. So you have any more? Oh, sorry. Do you have any more questions or any?
No, carry on with
Okay, then
somebody
I
else.
just want to quickly. You're very welcome. I just want to quickly have a look at other.
Yeah. No, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And who else dares to? Is courageous enough to show?
I dare to.
Yeah.
I went completely rogue and off piste. I don't know why, but I got completely confused at the start, and I don't know what I did. But anyway, I just decided to play, and I'll watch the recording back. But again, I'm a bit big. I must have a little.
It's still big, yeah. It you know what also happens? It stretches back and forth. So if you manipulate it, oh wow, very beautiful. Could you turn around?
I just had a little play, really.
Yes, beautiful.
But I missed something at the beginning, and I don't know why. I managed to keep up yesterday.
The only thing you didn't do is that you didn't make that spiral. So instead of a spiral, you did just like two parallel lines, but that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just got completely confused about the spiral, so I should watch it back again. But the drawing,
you will.
Great help, thank you.
You're welcome. Wonderful. Marlene, I think, can I bring you closer? Can you unmute yourself? Oh, sorry, I take Deborah off. Yeah, wow, very nice. So you did get it right completely, I can see. You did
wel, gisteren niet.
Huh? Sorry?
Vandaag lukt het, gisteren niet.
Oh yeah, it's you're there. Only what I would like to see is that half circle, the last one, that you raise it a little bit more, that you don't put it so flat, but you put it more across your head. Would be a little bit more interesting. You know what I mean? So instead of, for you, it's so just make it run more higher on the crown of your head. So that's what I mean. A little bit closer to the, so people play with that last fold. That is really the interesting part of the design. So you can just even make it in the middle of your head, or just change the position. Just use the material you have on the crown and just kind of position it in different ways and see what effect it has. But very cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, this looks, I think, really more interesting. You see, it has the beautiful, the shape is there, very cool. So before, I suggest, so if you have, sorry, thank you. I just take you off the spotlight. If you have a shape that you like, and before you continue doing anything else, then please mark it with a thread everywhere. Anybody else? T? Would you like to show us? Wow.
I also took Deborah's advice and just go
yes.
rogue.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
I
So
got completely lost looking at the image upside down.
Yeah, so maybe, okay, you got upside down.
So when we're watching you make it, the image on the screen is upside down. So then we're trying to sort of, I'm kind of like this.
Okay. So maybe
Sophia,
yes,
it's Lisa. Can I just say about I turn my iPad so that I'm look at the reflection of you in the mirror, and then I'm working the same as you.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, I put it on a stack of books in the bathroom, and now today I found another mirror. But I turn my whole, I turn it like this. I turn it so that I'm watching Sophia in my mirror.
Okay,
and then
so
it's like,
I see. I didn't understand what you meant by upside down. So now I understand.
no, not upside down, but reverse.
Mirror, yeah.
The mirror image.
Mirror,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it would be better if you have, if you can flip your image over on Zoom. So I cannot do it because it will only affect my camera. I don't know if is there anyone here who is familiar?
Sandy?
With
Sandy?
Sandy?
If Sophia, if you switched your camera over to the mirror view, then we would be seeing our right would be your right and your left would be your left. It's just that you're not used to teaching that way.
Okay, but the problem is I have two cameras. So how would
Right.
how can I do that? I want to do that, but I that normally doesn't work.
But so this works too, though. I just put it in the mirror and watch you in the mirror.
Okay. But
Another way
quickly-
would be to lock your iPad screen and turn your iPad upside down. That's what I do.
Oh,
That's a good
okay.
idea.
But the issue is not turning upside down, right? The issue is mirroring it. That's
No,
two
it's
different
upside
things.
down.
It's
But then
upside
if you
down.
turn,
Sophia, they're saying it's sort of backwards and upside down to them. So when they lock their iPads and then turn it the other way, then it would work for them. That is a good solution for the people that have iPads.
Yeah.
Okay, and those people who don't have iPads, they
Yoga.
but this helps a lot if you put it in the mirror and then watch the image in the mirror.
okay.
It's
Would it-
easy. Just turn your PC upside down.
Yes.
Okay,
Anyway,
so
just suggestion.
my question is, would that help you? Because we have two cameras, it's kind of difficult to. So what if I just explain the folds once again only on my head and not on the under the overhead camera, and then I try to just mirror my image? Does that help? Because what I think you can
We
do.
would still not be seeing the mirror image. We would still be seeing your left on our right and your right on our left.
Yeah, okay, so why don't you turn your hood over? Because so you could shape the hood. It doesn't matter if you shape it from the bulb is here or the other side. You can just mirror shape it with me. Do you understand?
Yeah, mirroring
Yeah,
is
that's
no problem.
great.
It's the upside down that was confusing me.
Yeah, but those are two different cameras we are talking about. So
Yeah.
if we take away one camera, just look at the hood like in my FaceTime camera when I'm shaping it on my head, then you can just do the mirror image what I'm doing, because it doesn't matter which part you put the bulk, you just basically just mirror me what I'm doing, right? So when you're watching the recording back, that's what I'm trying to say, that I just want to make sure that everybody will, you know, no one will get lost. But so if we just take away the overhead camera pictures, just mirror the whole thing and just act as if, you know, you are doing it on the mirror.
I know what helped for me, Sophia, right now is that you have a bracelet on your left hand.
Yeah.
So I knew that that was your left every time I watched you.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Oh, good. Another one.
Okay.
Another good thing. Thanks for the tips.
Yeah, but I would like to sort that out, because, you know, it's important that you can follow the. So, okay, what we can do is, so once you go through the recording once again, when you're watching this back, and try to just mirror me everything I'm doing. Also, you can try to, I know that Zoom you can mirror your own picture.
Okay.
I'm just taking you, taking you off the spotlight. And so if I just, let me do a little experiment for you. Video settings. Is that the way I can? No, it's not the video settings. It's
Sophia, if you go into your background and effects, and then mirror my video is this a piece right in there in settings.
Okay. Oh, in settings, but which settings?
So the settings on Zoom, if you go to the section that says background and effects, you're on your computer, right? Yeah, that would be the
but
setting.
I don't view. I don't
So
have.
if you go into preferences in Zoom, so at the top left-hand side beside your Apple, it would say Zoom.
Yeah.
And right underneath that is a section that says preferences.
Yes, I've got it.
And then within preferences, there's a section called background and effects on the left-hand side.
Yes, that's right.
And so at the bottom of that screen in the center, it says mirror my video. That's where that connection is.
Yes, and it's already, okay, so now, okay, so now I did it. Do you see any change?
So it didn't change what we're looking at there. Perhaps it changes the other camera. I don't know.
For me, it changed. So now I'm mirrored.
Oh.
No,
But not for you.
We don't see anything different. Nobody sees anything different, right?
No.
Try the other camera.
I put it back because it's very confusing for me to see myself moving it. Okay. Now I mirrored it back. So it absolutely made no difference for you guys, and no one. So then in that case, I suggest, because these are symmetrical, not symmetrical shapes, it's like it doesn't matter how you start. So once you start the shaping, you can just basically mirror me. So that's why I'm confused when, and so with under the overhead camera, the problem was that that I should have turned it upside down. So let me just make a little experiment. Okay, let's just, so when I did the shaping, the problem was that I had my hood like this, and I should have it like this.
Yes.
Would this help? Okay, so let's just go through the process once again in this position, if that helps. I mean, that should be, I should be able to do that.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Really? Okay, so I didn't understand that. I'm sorry. I'm glad someone said it. Okay, let's start once again. Yeah, so those people who are lost, then let's hope that you are going to be, that you find your way now. Okay, so the first step I'm doing. Yes?
I just want to make one other comment, because that's very helpful, but it means you're working upside down. I've taken courses from instructors who have the camera above their head or behind them. And so you're looking at the image the right way and we're looking at the image
Yes.
right way. So
Yes,
that
but
might be
yeah, thanks a lot. I cannot change my camera, but I can stand on the other side of the table. So that's going to be, that's a brilliant idea. So, okay. But actually I don't even need to do that because, okay, let's just start. I'm going to first fold back the, does this confuse you that my hands are coming from this way or is that okay?
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so we created, and I just, for a moment, I want to make sure that you know what the front is and what the back is.
That was also very good.
Okay, so we just, this is the front and this is the back. And if you watch carefully, you will see those lines marked here as well. So it will give you a little bit of clue. Okay, so the first thing we do, so I folded this back. The first thing we do is we are going to start with this. So I'm going to start with the back now. Okay, so we are going to start with this is the bulky side, the big bump. And this is about 6 centimeters away, 6 centimeters higher from the baseline. And then I start the fold here. And then I continue going back to the base and stop here. So this is the first fold, okay? Okay, is that okay, everyone?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, just continue a little bit on the side. This was the part that we pushed inside. You remember? So this is about that occipital something bone. And so instead of these two lines joining here, this point where my finger is, I want to push under like this, okay? And just make this, just push this forward down like this. You got this step?
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Hey.
Now, I think the best is if I turn it now, flip it over upside down. And so maybe just grab it here on this side and you can flip it over. And I'm going to, this is still 6 centimeters here. And I'm going to continue this line, going up a little bit higher. And this is about 10 centimeters high from here. Just continue this. And this is that first wide fold across your face, like this. So now we've got this and this side. So now I'm going to flip it over once more. And now on this side where the fold is higher, I am going to continue basically on almost in a straight line.
This is where I went wrong.
Something went wrong?
No, that's where I went wrong. I didn't see that part. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you've got it now?
Yeah.
Great. So you go completely to the edge. And then we flip it one more time over. And now I am continuing back to this second layer, this second fold, going back like this. Okay? Zhups here. Who's got it right? Who is lost?
Oh, good. Much better. Thank you.
Great. I'm glad. And so you see the other line for me is this is running here. So this is the last half circle. So this is running on the opposite.
Roughly what measurement is it from the previous fold to where you're folding
From
now?
here to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 centimeters
Okay,
about.
10.
Yeah, 10, 11 centimeters. And then I make this fold here. I've never folded a hat like that, but that's quite interesting actually. And then fold it over. Oh, oops, sorry, like this. And it comes back a little bit towards, no, it doesn't completely reach it, but it comes back to the side like this, to the first, to the second fold, almost touches it. So these are the basic lines you have to, the basic folds. Shall I do it quickly one more time?
Yes.
Okay, so we start again. Okay, this is the bulky bit. We grab it 6 centimeters above the from the first line, and we're just going a little bit higher. Here is must be 10 centimeters. Oh, actually, sorry, I should have started at the back. Excuse me. That's not, that's a bit, so excuse me, I'm starting at the back. So we have this line, and I'm going to just make my spiral going up here. This is 6 centimeters. And now I'm just grabbing it here and we'll flip it over to the front. And now it's still 6 centimeters here going up with the fold. And now this distance is 10 centimeters, and flip it one more time, going one more time around across the back. Also a little bit going higher. So this distance is 10 centimeters as well. And then when you reach the edge, then flip it one more time and lead this fold back down to the front. And it's kind of disappearing here, but we don't have to worry about it. And now we are going to add this half circle as well. And it's going to cut this half line about 10, 11 centimeters away from this fold here. And I know already that this fold is going to turn this way, so you can turn it this way already. And then I will going to flip it over one more time and just go back down to the second fold closed. It doesn't really matter how this line goes, you can just go into it. And we are going to, on this side, we are going to tuck quite a lot away from this material here of the, so I'm just tucking this material of the crown, going inside the head. And that's it. And so now it would be the moment to put it on your head and straighten the folds, which I am going to do because you have to see how I am doing the finishing touch.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, did this help?
Yes.
Very much.
Great, thank you so much. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Very much. It was
I'm very glad we solved it. I'm sure I think that you would have figured it out when you watched the recording, but that's a lot of work, I think. Together with the fold pattern and watching the video, probably you would have figured it out, but it would have been much more work. Okay, I am going to put it on my head one more time. Just be careful that when you have this extra material of the crown, then you just even this out a little bit on your head or on a head block. So we don't have like suddenly an extra fold somewhere there. This looks like a giant insect. This thing. So really nice, I like it. Okay, so the point of this hat is that it's, so just tuck everything in of the crown, just go tuck it underneath the folds on both ways, because we are going to need that shape. This has to be flat. And so what I was telling you afterwards, that I really like if we bring a little bit material more towards this fold, and you can also replace the position of this fold to make it be a little bit closer that way. So instead of placing it here, you could also place it a little bit closer to this part here. So instead of this, you can bring it here. But for the time being, before you just work on that. But this is for a later stage, once you feel comfortable making this shape. Because what I like about this shape is that you can pull up the last fold and make the hat a bit higher. And now it's up to you whether you are working with these shapes, like just straightening everything out and making everything look beautiful. And I will show it to you on the head block, how I normally do that. So the best thing would be if I show it also from the side. So first of all, I make sure that I straighten everything out at the crown area. So there are not, there are no creases anywhere. And these bits I really don't like. So just bring it a bit closer so you can see it. So you see, I like to tuck this line completely straight away into this fold. So I don't like this crease here, what you can see. So I just make sure that I massage that away and tuck everything neatly in. You can see how it's became much neater. And what I usually do is I have this instrument, and it's a wooden, it's I think to make cakes. So this part is rubber, and this is fantastic to scrape the surface and not tear out any material. For some reason, it makes the surface very, very smooth. And also you can, just smoothen out everything. It's all folds and areas with this rubbery thing. It's very nice. The friction created by the rubber is really nice for the felt. It's just basically the perfect thing you need. And then I use this part to go into the creases and just make them basically on the head block, make them a bit more even and tight and straight. And also the thing is, when you have these deeper creases, so this is that last fold we placed, then you can't really go in there with your finger, but you can go in there with this and if you don't have anything like that for the moment, you can just do it with a spoon, for example, or just with your finger, just rubbing it back and forth. And just, I tuck this also away.
You can use, sorry, Sophia.
Yes, tell me.
You can use also a bone, this is used to make books, and it's really nice also. Can you see it?
So, no, a moment, I just want to see I have to switch over to gallery view to see. Ah, yeah. That's Violet.
Yeah. It's to make books, and it's from bones. You know, bone.
Oh, bone. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And it's
Yeah.
really nice to work with the felt. also.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, good idea. Thank you for, yeah. And it's where can you buy something like that?
In a library or something like that, that they
Library.
sell things from handmade.
Could you show
tools.
us?
Yeah.
Could you show us?
It's to make books when you.
I will spotlight you just a moment so people can see. Yeah, you see?
It's like that.
Yeah. That's
You sit
very,
with the
very good.
books,
That's a very
just
handy instrument. So it's similar to my, I really like the wood feeling, but that's also perfect. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. And I think you could also use a nail file, a glass nail file, for example, right?
Yeah, but this is round all around, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that would be
This
perfect.
is really soft all the, and this is round, and here you
Yes.
have pointy. It is, I've been using it just for one day, and it's perfect. Yeah. Just flatten.
It is on Amazon, and it's called the Genuine Bone Folder Scoring Folding Origami.
Oh,
thank you so much.
ZENCINK.
Genuine, sorry, say it again.
Genuine Bone Folder.
Ah, cool. Thanks a lot. Wow. Very
May
nice. I learned
may the printer speak, please, and the librarian.
Oh, yes.
It is for hardback books. In the olden days, the printers, some of the printers didn't used to cut between all the pages, so it's to split some of the pages. I think every 8 pages you had to split. They printed on A3 paper. So that's
interesting. And who was that? Who spoke?
Mia. I used to be a printer, and I
Okay.
am a librarian.
Ah, wow. Thank you. I learn a lot of things from you. Thanks a lot.
Yes, Sophia.
Yes.
Just before you go, can you see? I'm not sure if it's. Can you see this round thing?
Just a moment. I have to find you. So who's speaking?
Yeah, it's the same.
Mia.
Yeah.
Milek.
Can you see this running, this round object, you know? That's perfect.
Oh, yeah. I can see.
Yeah. It's perfect for laying the hats also.
Yes,
you know?
yes. I have that too. I love that. You mean that running tape, that turning table, like a ceramic. Yeah, I have that too. I love that. That's a very good idea to work with. So,
sorry.
Okay. So these areas, especially here, so it's a little bit, wavy. How do you call that? It's not straight, this area, and this is because this is what I was talking about. So between these two folds, there are always these areas that there is just simply too much material here. So what I would need to do right now, which I'm not going to do it, but I'm not going to do because I want to show you the fine tuning of this head, but I would really need to shrink this a little bit more. And I just would mark this area with a couple of, stitches and just work on this a bit more. And probably I would, probably I would move it like this as well. So this helps as well when you are just moving it. I'm moving my hands in the opposite direction and also a little bit circular. So that helps to clean up these messy areas. And then what I usually do is just make sure that it touches somewhere the curve of the head block, and just basically in between these areas, I would just really rub on it and straighten, pull out the folds, these two folds, stretch them out, and just basically scrape this line and make it as straight as possible, because these fine-tuning methods are just really so very, very important with the look of the head. I mean, people will not see this consciously, but subconsciously they will notice it. And you too.
Sophia, can you tell me how wet or damp or moist the hat is right now as you're working on it?
So the best thing to describe it is basically when I squeeze the felt, my fingers are a little bit moist. So this could be the best trick you can use. And so if I feel the top is drying out always faster because the water is coming down. And so it was on my head as well. So if I rub on the top, my fingers stay dry. The felt is still dry, but that's too dry for shaping. And if I rub on the bottom, then my fingers are still moist. So there's a difference. I would normally now spray some water on the top. And so that's really a problem, that felt dries out so fast. So just, and what I also like to do is I support, for example, you have this curved surface, this curved force. I'm just placing my hand and support this surface, and I'm just scraping on it because this is going to smoothen out the felt completely. It's just basically like working with clay. It's the same feeling. And this, I have this curve on this side, so this really just following the curve of this large fold, this top fold. And the nice thing is, meanwhile, you know, I'm scraping the surface, I'm also kind of smoothing out this curve on the other side, but you can do it with a spoon as well, and spatula. And I like to, this is this fold that's just running across the forehead, and I like to straighten it out a bit by just supporting the crown and just grab it like this and pulling it away like this. Makes it a bit more pronounced and wide.
Sophia, this is Dilek.
Yes.
Should we see?
Yes, say it once again.
Should we steam?
No, well, it's up to you basically, but I don't steam often because I'm afraid of pulling out too much, widening the material, stretching too much the folds, and so you can create these huge widened folds if you steam it. So I would not steam it, but if you cannot really fold it in a way that it doesn't let go anymore the material, you can always try to steam, but I don't think it's necessary at this stage.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. So I'm just going to put it back on my head. So so the shape is much better. And I like this so high, but of course you can change that. And then at the end, I just really like to play a lot with these proportions, how close these two layers are to each other and how high this is. I can go a little bit higher on this side, just pushing down the crown and pulling this up. And this is just really such a nice way to, you can turn it more to the side and turn this higher like that, or like this, a bit lower. And you can turn this last flap a bit more down, and then also turn this fold kind of a little bit forward. So what is also matters is not just the distance of the folds, but also the way they are turning. So they are turning up a little bit, or they are turning down. And so I can also tuck a bit more of this baseline underneath the first fold. That can make it also interesting. So what I want to say is that it's a dynamic shape. There's a lot of movement in these curls and in these lines, and you can just keep experimenting with it and keep kind of changing them as long as you are satisfied. And then afterwards, even if you're satisfied, you can just find more solutions, more. Let me just turn around quickly. Oops, I hope I'm still in the camera. Yeah. And so I want to have a look at your hats again, if someone needs some instructions from me. And not instructions, but advice.
Sophia, I pulled all my creases out and realized maybe I need to like stitch in the creases so I can stay on track. But now from doing that, my hat is kind of dry and quite stiff. So what would I do next to sort of get back to the shaping process?
That's a very good question. So if in that case, if your hood is dry or it's still wet, but it's drying out, it will be increasingly difficult to shape. So I suggest that you soak it in, just let water run inside it under the tap, and just let it soak in water. But you don't even need to like soak it in a bowl of water. Just let water run through it and everywhere, because once your hood is still wet or moist, it will absorb more water. Once it's dry, first it needs some time to suck up water, but just rinse it under the running water. And then I squeeze a little bit the water out, and then I just make it stand like I don't have anything to show to you. So it's just, I squeeze it together like what we do with the harmonica, and just stand it in a bowl and let all the water run out on the bottom. So it's enough if you do this for 10-15 minutes, and then squeeze out of the bottom the water, just with a little bit of dry towel dabbing, or how you call that, not tapping, but you squeeze on.
Yeah.
Yes, and then that will take out, and then start the shaping process again. But once if you realize that it's too hard water is dripping out of it, then you have to make it a little bit drier, because that's too much water. So it should be a bit heavy from water. You feel the heaviness of the water, but it should keep the water even if you squeeze on it. You know, if you squeeze on if you squeeze the folds, for example.
Okay.
That's what you that's the next step. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, perfect, thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions, ladies?
Yes, please, Sophia.
Yes.
I think I have still a little bit too much volume here between these two creases. Can I still shrink that, or is this okay? Is that enough?
It looks very nice, by the way. So you have still, what you have, but sorry, what did you say?
I think I have a little bit too much volume still in between.
Yeah, Yeah, that is an area where it's usually needed to, yeah. So if you need to exactly mark the area what we are talking about, because once you open the hood again, you will not be able to, you will not know anymore where that was. So if you could just mark it, and then you shrink it on from this direction also and from this direction, or you just take it off your head and then just do what I did, just grab the two folds and do this circular motion. So it will, the material will go a little bit more.
I tried that, but I think it's too dry already.
Yeah, if it's dry, then it's not going to work. So then you have to take it off and you can also just add water locally to that area. Just add some warm soapy water and get some more. But it doesn't look very bad for me. So I can't see it very well, but it looks quite nice. And if I may suggest one thing though, the third fold, I mean, everything is beautiful how you place, but the third fold you are placing it is like going from left to right, and it should be more diagonal. So yeah, so going from, so yeah, so your is for you it's like this, and mine is going like across my head from my left. This is my right hand side, from my right to the left. The back is the left. So I think you could change that. So I see that we are,
yeah, you would start more here. This is my right.
Yes.
So you would start here.
Yes.
And
then go back, not so, and that side where your finger is, it should go more to the back.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. So ladies, this is the moment you can ask me to help you. Please, this was a very good example. Thank you very much for doing that. This was a very good example how we can just figure out tiny details. Anyone else? And then I have a question for you. If you are still okay and can go on, then I have another design for you to show, which is relatively simple, but because it's simple, it's really beautiful. And well, to get those tiny, simple details is sometimes more difficult. So how do you feel about this? Shall we have a break and then I can show you the third design, or you prefer to receive it on a video?
I'd like to continue.
Great. Good spirit. Me too, actually. But I just want to check a little bit. Are you extremely tired? You've had enough? Or if you feel, because this is not long anymore. The second design, I can explain it to you quite fast, but it's really beautiful. And I really want to, I'm looking forward to showing it to you.
Yes, Lisa, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
So then we are going to, and the time is not too bad. It's in Amsterdam, it's 7:30. So that's a totally nice.
Can we do a quick break first?
Yes, I wanted to say, let's have a 15-minute break. So I can have a cup of tea and go to the toilet and all sorts of things, and you too. And we'll return at quarter, let me see, a little bit late, a few minutes later than 1/4 the whole hour. So whatever that is for you. So we have a 15-minute break now, okay? I will switch off my camera and mute myself, but I can still hear you and I'll be around. And we'll be back in 15 minutes. Okay. Hi, everyone, again. I'm back again. Okay. I think everybody's muted. Are you ready to continue? Yeah, I see people nodding, so I'm just going to continue. So the next hat, sorry, we are going to do is basically a very simple design, but you will still have to really pay attention to the small details. So I'm going to show you the hat itself. There's a lot of paper in it. So this is the hat we are going to make. And this hat you have seen also in red in the pictures of the masterclass. So that's going to be, I have to share my screen again to show you this. So it's easier for me to grab the head and show it. It's in blue, and that is going to be in red, that photo. So we are going to make this head in 3 simple designs. And the only problem is that my hood shrank so much. And you will see me making the exact same steps, but my hood is smaller, so it will be less wide than the hood, the head I was just showing you. But hopefully you still have your measurements, so you can use the same hood measurements for this design as we just used with the second one. So if you want me to repeat the measurements once again, I can do that. And so the length of the hood was 32 centimeters. The width was about 33 centimeters measured at the widest point. And the base of the crown measured around 10 centimeters away from the crown was 25 centimeters wide. So of course, if your hood measurements are different from that, you still will be able to make the shape. But the best results you will get if it's a little bit bigger, you have more space to play with these design elements. So I will just show you very, very quickly the 3 steps of the design. So you will have an idea what we are going to go through. And then we are going to really go step by step. I will show you the exact measurements of the folds and so on. But I just want you to see the whole idea, what we are going to do. So just going to put this hood on my head. So this is the bulkier side here. So I'm just going to straighten out everything so you don't see. That's right, better not to see the folds yet. So I'm just going to place the hood on my head in a way that I have, and I'm sorry to change my position like this so you can see me behind a gray area. So we are going to first, as you see already here, I have created this fold, but we are going to place a fold across our head in this, roughly speaking, in this position. And so you see this big bulb here, and it's going to go passing by that big bump on the side. And I'm going to give you the measurements for this, but this is just a rough idea. And this is a little bit lower here. And then exactly in the mirror image, it's going to go down at the back and join this side. So we are just going to create a circular fold and push the crown down. And then I'm just placing my head here and just kind of pressing everything down neatly. And then we have this shape, right? So this is quite simple. So what can we do with this big area? And now this design, and there is another design I'm going to reveal to you, but not today. We are going to do something with this big. How can we shape the hat in a way that we make use of this big bump on this side? So now I'm going to show you an elegant method. Now we are making another fold on this a little bit higher, for about 3-4 centimeters away from this top fold, and we are just going to make a curve and come down to the bottom like this. So just a simple half circle here. So let me just do it, and then I continue. It's a little bit difficult to make this curve once you arrive down to this edge, but try to kind of squeeze the felt together and bring it down in a curved line. So not in a straight line, because that's going to kill your design. The whole point is to kind of join the baseline, the edge of the head, in a curved line, and then just join the base in a curved line like this. Okay. And then just going to so this is, so we have still this big curve here, but now we have this line. And we just stop here because we don't worry about the rest. And we have this curve as well. And now the last step is, as you see, so I just imagine the half of this. So this is like a half of an apple, and just cut the apple in exactly in half, and just make a fold here that's running across the half. And it's just disappearing into this fold, disappearing here, and just squeeze it together like this. And now we are going to change a little bit. So we are going to shift, going to turn it a bit that way. So this part is coming to, and you see what's happening here. So this nice curve, we are going to continue till about here, but we'll stop there. And this line, we are going to go on towards the back a little bit longer, but it comes up a little bit higher. You can just continue straight here. I like it when it goes up a bit high, goes upward a little bit, but don't reach the end of this curve here. So just stop before the edge of this shape. And now the last step is to pull out everything. The last step is to this mounting fold that we created. We are going to turn it up and straighten it out from the bottom. So like this. So we are going to straighten it up from the bottom, and then I will turn it back a bit again. And then I just want to bring these two lines closer to each other. So we'll turn down this line more to the front, and this first fold, this bigger, wider fold, I'm going to turn a little bit more upwards. And just make sure it's tucked away. And now it's a question of just straightening everything out, just making sure that these lines are nice and straightened out. And now, because my hood shrank quite a lot, unfortunately, instead of going a bit like this, it's going inside. But we are just going to ignore this for the time being. And now I will still have to do some adjustments on it. Meaning that I would like to straighten out this line. You see, it's not running very evenly, but I can't do it at the camera because it's not enough. I can't see it well enough, so I will have to do it with my naked eye and on the head block. And then just continue with this. We will straighten everything out. And the idea of this hat that you can wear this detail basically on everywhere. So you can wear it to the front or to the back, or you can wear the hat like this. And this is a beautiful part, and I really suggest that you work on this. So you have this one line that's basically just yeah, it gives a it's just very simple, but it just gives it does something to the proportion. So that's it. These are the basic steps. So because my hood is shrunken quite a lot, and I want to make sure that you have the right kind of measurements, I'm going to show you with the overhead camera, I'm going to show you the lines, the exact place of the lines. And then I suggest that you copy that, either copy that on your hat, on your hood, and I'm also will show you how to do that, what is the easiest way to do that. Or yeah, just, you know, try to fold the hat without those lines, and just try, just experiment and see how far you go, how far you can go. Gonna change the camera. I won't worry about straightening these lines out now. So first I want to show you the drawing. So this is the front of the hat. And I just showed it to you that this we have folded back, folded under the edge to create the baseline, and this is the baseline. And then you see on this drawing, it's folded back, not in a straight line, but in a little bit of a curved line. And I suggest that in the beginning, you just do it in a straight line, because I adjusted this later on. I really liked the idea that the opening was not a straight line, the edge of the hat was not straight, but it went a little bit curvy. Then this line is that circular horizontal line, excuse me, a circular line that we created on the top. So that is this line. And then on the side, we created this around this bump, there was this extra curve we created here. And this one, the upper one, is an upward turning fold, and this is a downward turning fold, and that creates this flat area here. Oh, you can't see it, I think, on the, but this is this flat area here, which is this one here. So what I usually do, so you see these numbers on the side. So these numbers tell you the difference between these lines. So the difference between these two folds are 4 centimeters. These folds are 9 centimeters. So when you are constructing this shape, then you will be able to measure the differences, the distances between the folds. And once again, this is really not so important to make this so precise, to be so precise with this, because there is a lot of space for movement. So it doesn't have to be completely exactly the same as this, but at least it will give you some kind of guidance how how to create it. And I want to show you the back, but I've lost. Oh, no, sorry. So this was the front. So if you would just put this on top of the head. So you see my hood shrank so much that this is really a huge, these are really a couple of centimeters smaller. This should be the size that you are doing. And I'm going to give you, of course, also the measurements of this. But so if you just take your hood, and if you would just lay this on top and measure exactly the place of the lines where you are going to create the folds, then it is just very easy to stitch where you would put the folds. So I hope it's clear for everyone. I do actually use for these kind of purposes a clear see-through plastic. So I show you the one I use. I just suddenly lost, no, that's the one. So you see I have these lines on there, and I just place it on it, and then I just take a couple of pins like this, and I follow. If you start out with this, I suggest you do one piece of plastic for the front and another one for the back. I have this, the front and the back I have on the same, you see, so it's but it can be confusing in the beginning and you can make mistakes. So I just make one for the front and make one for the back. And then I just usually, you know, just mark the lines with a couple of pins and then just go everywhere. And then I stitch it. And as you can see, I stitched it already with red. I don't think I can see, with the red, red thread. But I would suggest that you use white one, just simple white thread. And so once you marked all these lines, then it's going to be very, very easy to put it on your head and place the folds. So let me give you the measurements of this template. So this is the front, and we have another one. This is the back. So, and I try to place it in a way that you can see. So if I would put them together, they would close like this, like this. So back and front. And so the line from the bottom, so I have a hood that is exactly, I think just to make sure that I give you the right measurements, I measure it once again. I already measured it, but yeah, so it's 32 centimeters long and 34 centimeters wide. So these are the right measurements that I have given you. I just put it away for a second. And so I measure the base of the crown. About this area is also 26 centimeters wide. So I just correct it. I'm going to write it on the so these would be the correct measurements of this, the dimensions of this shape. And the crown measured at 10 centimeter from starting from here down here. So it's measured on this line, 26 centimeters wide, 32 centimeters long, and it's 34 centimeters wide. So if your hood is a little bit smaller now, then you can just stretch it back again. So if you, for example, steam it or or just wet it again, you can just stretch it out a few centimeters. So these are the ideal measurements. It doesn't mean that you have to exactly follow these measurements. And so the first line that you are going to have to fold in is this bottom line here. So everything that's under this line is folded back in the hood. I suggest that you first fold it in straight, and then the next line you position, always measure it from the flattened hood from the edge, 8 centimeters away, just these numbers indicate the distances from the lines. So I think I'm just going to put it here once more. And so you can maybe mark with pins for now, or even with a couple of stitches, the more or less the position of the lines. And it's not a lot, so I hope it's okay to do that now. And then let's just fold, after you marked the lines more or less where they should be, then just let's fold the head together. And so I can take a look at some of the results you are making. And so I don't know if you don't have an extra hood, but I mean, if you don't want to destroy your previous design with the hood, you can use your hood, because we can all just practice on the same hood. But if you don't want to, I completely understand. So it's up to you if you do this. And so I will just wait a little bit, and then we will shape it together. And I'm reading the questions meanwhile, and I completely understand that you find this very easy to read. The problem with this way of teaching making shapes is that you are following a pattern, like when you are, if you would do sewing, for example. So you are just really literally copying a pattern on top of your hood, which doesn't teach anything about shaping. And so I like to do this both because it gives you a very clear idea where to place the lines, but I don't want to start with this intentionally, because I want you to feel the whole idea of placing the folds, checking if they are in the right position. And so that is the reason why I haven't shown this to you before, but the answer is yes. You will have all the fold patterns. So this is what I call the fold pattern. And you will have this for all the hoods, all the heads, all 4 heads that we are making. But this is going to, so it's going to take away the initiative from you, that you learn kind of that new ideas come out of your head, that you understand the feeling, you develop a feeling for shaping. So this is why I don't like to teach this way, but I also want to share this with you because it can make your results better. I hope this makes sense. And the question, how well do the folds hold up in the rain and the snow? Very good question. And what is the best way to store when not in use? So the folds should be able to hold up completely in snow. Snow should not be a problem. The only thing you should not do is let get completely snowed under, covered with snow, and then allow the snow to melt on it and wait for a long time, because water eventually will get into the fibers if you wait too long. And that's the same with rain. So in Amsterdam, we have a lot of rainy days, and we are doing everything on the bike. So I'm every single day biking also in the winter. And I do wear my felt hats always on the bicycle. And so unless it's heavy rain, which can then destroy your head, but if it's just a little bit of rain, so we often have rain which is like a drizzle in Amsterdam, and so I always bike with my hats in drizzle and nothing ever happens. I do make sure that they don't get soaked. So the important thing is that they don't get soaked. So once these folds are folded and dried in a particular way, they don't change their shape. And what is the best way to store when it's not in use? I like to store them not somewhere on a quiet, dark place, because it's sensitive to moths. I like to keep them just in my living room, or, you know, in my studio. They are everywhere. There's lots and lots of hats in my studio. I've never really had problems with moths because I keep trying them on, changing their position. And that is, if you put it away in a cupboard somewhere in a dark place, or in, you know, in a room where you don't often go to, then you always risk the possibility that moths will find it and lay eggs in it, and, you know, so just destroy the hat completely. So in my case, I've never had that any problem with that. And it's also good to store it somewhere flat, just you know, lying on the base, on the like how you would just put your head on a table. I hang them up in my studio, but that's not the best way to store hats, I can tell you. Can go a little bit out of shape, and I don't know. I like to see them, but I always try to change their position. I always like to change them. So the best way is just to store them flat, of course, and not squashed or anything. Make sure that it doesn't disform, it doesn't get squeezed between two objects, which distorts the shape. And that can, if it stays like that for like a couple of months, then, you know, you can have distortions in the shape. And one more. Check. It's someone asked Naomi, but I think she left already. If it could work doing everything on a head block while watching. So yeah, sure. I mean, if you try everything, whatever works for you, why not? You can always work on a head block. The more difficult thing about the head block is just that it's not a whole head, so it's just like a crown shape. And these hats, they come sometimes a little bit further down than the head block finishes, so that makes it kind of difficult. And if you shape it on your head, you immediately see the result. That's, for me, so important and so good to be able to see the results right away. And that gives me, you know, brings me to new ideas, which I really love. So that's why I'm shaping. This is, for me, the fold pattern is for me a way to store my ideas, to remember them exactly how I made them, but it's not good. So this is not good for creativity. But because I want to give you all sorts of ways to make these hats and make them as beautiful as possible, that's why I'm giving this to you too. But just keep it in mind that it's not good for your creativity. It's better to experiment on your head when you are doing these designs and try to invent variations on it. You will be very happy with that, I'm sure. Yes, so Lynn is asking you that I will be sending out a PDF of each of the 4 head patterns with dimension measurements and fold lines with the distances. Yes, I will be sending out a PDF, and you should receive the PDF for the first half of the week. So either so before Wednesday or Wednesday, that's the latest day. And I just want to make sure that every measurements are fine, and you will have all 3 designs. And then I'm going to explain to you what we will do with the 4th design, but that's going to happen at the end of the class. And Marlene is asking that 29 centimeter long. Yes, sure. I mean, just try. Yeah, it's going to happen. Het gaat lukken, Marleen. Probeer het gewoon. You just try it, and it's your hood measurements are similar to mine, so mine shrank so much as well. And Eugenie is asking, would you consider giving us a tour of your studio? What do you mean by that? So I walk around and that's what you mean, I guess, right? I will give you a tour of my studio. I promise you the next time we see each other. But because now I cannot bring my camera around, that's a problem. So I'm going to, maybe it's better to, I'm going to film it with my phone. That would be easy. So are you kind of finishing, or shall I wait some more? I'm happy to wait some more. It's just I have no idea where you are at this moment. I mean, which stage. So let me see. Some people are still working. I don't know. So shall we go over the folding now that you have a basic idea where this leads to? Shall we just continue the shaping? Shall we just go over the steps of the shaping of this head once again? Okay, just a moment. Yes, so I will take this away. And I will put my insect back again on the head. And though this head doesn't really have a front and a back, but I am going to give it a front right now. So this is going to be, let's see, let's do this. Okay, so this is the front. Like this. And this is what we are going to do. So I just put it beside it. So first I am going to do this, this line here. Like this. And now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to repeat the same. Just flip it over. And I am going to just continue with this line here. And go a little bit down at the front. This is the back. Okay, so it looks like this. And flip it over again. We are working on the front now. So now I will add this fold here, this circular fold. And so the distance between my fold and this is about 4 centimeters, but I will make it 3 on this hood because it's so small. So I am going to add this curved fold Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to to fold back the bottom. So let's just, it doesn't matter. I will just fold a little bit back from the bottom. I should have done this right away. So I'm continuing my curve and going back like this. So just joining the bottom like this. Sorry, from the beginning. This. And maybe it's a good idea to use some pins and secure the folds. I don't need to secure this one. This is fine. So we are going to flip it over one more time. And let's see what's happening here. So this fold here, this circular fold, I can stop here at the side. I don't need to continue with this. This is okay. It's fine to stop here. I'm also, sorry, before I flip it over, I'm also going to add this fold here at the curve, to which this fold is going to cut the curve in half, basically. And that is going to go over to the other side a little bit longer. Okay, so it looks a bit, it doesn't look like it's, yeah, so it's better. Okay, so I have this, I created this line here. So now I'm going to flip it over one more time. And now you can see that this fold that's starting here is going to go on a little bit longer in between these two lines. It's going to go on a little bit longer to the back. Stops somewhere in the middle. Like this. So I just created this fold and that's it. We've got the design. So now I will just already, before I put it on my head, I will just squeeze and stretch out these folds. Everywhere. And now we can put it on our head and check. So I want to, before we put it on our head, I just want to say, why is this line here curved instead of straight? And the reason for this is because what I really like about this head is that it doesn't finish on a straight line, but it's going inside a bit and it finishes in this curve. So just has this, see, has this kind of shape. Now I'm going to remove this beautiful thing. Okay. And I also will remove the pins. I think I have no more pins. And let's look at it on my head. And once again, I will come in front of the gray stuff. So the fine tuning of this head, the most important thing is that I like to close this, bring it down a little bit closer to each other, these two lines. So this line and this line is going to meet and get closer a bit. And this is too much volume here, it is too high. And I also want to make this line more curved, so going more inward. So I'm just tucking from here. I'm tucking a little bit more under the line. And I'm going to sharpen these lines a bit more. And then also just pull it a little bit lower. It's really, really important that this area is completely straightened out. And the way you can straighten it out is just pull it like this from all directions. And then also straighten this curve out by just moving your hand very steadily along this curve. Like this. You see how beautifully it straightens out. And then just close this, make sure that this neatly joins this here underneath this line. And turn it a little bit upwards. And that's it, basically. So let's just check the back. So this should be much wider, this part of the hood. So this is, for me, for my face, is really very narrow. And it's because, once again, because my hood is so small. But once it's kind of wider in this area, then this line can be so beautiful. You have this double line here, and you can wear it this way or wear it more in this direction. And what I really love about this is wearing it like this. It looks like there is another layer starting here. And if I put back the other blue hat, which was made with the larger hood, then you will see the difference. So once this area is much wider here, then you see how beautifully this line joins up, and how beautifully it just stops here, but it has this extra kind of extra dimension. I don't know how to call this, like an extra layer. And then also at the back, so you see how much this comes more. It's the head is basically in this area much fuller, because the template, the shape, the hood shape is more curvy, more yeah, so it's just basically larger. So this should be the result. And so mine is now a bit like this. So I wonder if you managed to make it. Shall I show it quickly once again, just on my head, what the steps are? I show it once more, just to be sure, once again. So I start like this, and if your visual, your screen is the other way around, then I'm just mentioning that this is my right hand side, and I put the curve on the right, and then I add this circular fold, which is going a little bit like this, so it's a bit diagonal. Push down the crown and even it out everywhere beautifully, and then adding this side curve, just starting from the side, and it also stops there, it doesn't go, and just joining the base. And then it already, I already have the fold here, but you just basically cut this, that big bump in half and squeeze the felt together and just continue, go a little bit longer around, straighten it up, and then straighten everything up, out. And this helps also a little bit if you kind of, you don't allow this to go, this is not nice. So I just normally pull it down a bit and also straighten it out, straighten everything out here. Just pull it like this. And there you have it. Checking the back. It's difficult to fold it in with glasses, but we are getting there. You see what I did? I just pulled this apart, these two folds, to make them stand straight like this. So this is the end result. So let's see. Quickly. I see you working so hard. It's so nice to see. Wow. I see some beautiful heads. So before I go over to tell you your homework, I just want to have a quick look at your beautiful designs, your beautiful. So is there anyone else that would like me to take a look at their design? So Evelyn, I see you very well. So could I just look at you?
Yes, sure.
Yes.
I didn't straight it out before, and I realized that it's harder to shape it because I feel the lines from the other shape.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but because I see some, yes. And if I may say so, that line you are, so where the line is going upward, yes, that one. Perhaps you could make it a little bit shorter because just long. Yeah, well, not that short, but just add a little bit more. But you went a little bit too far for me, and for your shape it would look nice. Yeah. And then just do this with the fold, just with one straight motion, just straighten it out so that it's not too curvy, not too like going like this. Oh. But these are just minor, yeah. So if I look at it from the camera, it looks like that it's joining this top circular curve, and that shouldn't be. It's much nicer, more interesting if the line stops earlier than your, almost. It looks like it's almost touching the upper curve, the upper fold, the circular fold. Yeah. That's right. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's beautiful. And could you turn it around, because I can't see the other side. This is the more difficult side. Yeah. Yes, and another thing for me would be that but you don't have yet the measurements exactly. This segment, the third segment on top of the two folds are too far away from each other. On the other side. No, that one. That should be smaller. Because it's too big for your head. So it has to be a little bit more finer. The folds have to be finer. Yeah. I see that you are doing the right thing. Yeah. But you can also bring down the fold, the circular fold also lower on that side. Yeah. So lower, I mean that the top circular fold should be a little bit lower. So that will make only on the side of a lot of folds, the stacks.
I get confused when I'm watching on the screen.
Yeah, okay, I understand, but that's just a.
But
I understand you are watching yourself, but don't worry. But I think you get it what I say, right? That's just yeah. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Beautiful. Thank you.
It's also too large here. So
yeah, okay, you can just make it a bit smaller.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So, Deborah, can I look at your
I was lacking a bit of bulge. It shrank a bit too much here, but
yeah. Oh, that's a pity. Okay, so this is a very good thing that we look at yours, because the key element of this design is, and I can understand if this is not yet working for you, because we are using one hood for all these shapes. But once you make the hood, you have to make sure that you have a large wide bump on this side. Without the large wide bump, this
that bit's
thing
lost.
here,
Yeah,
this is going to disappear. This is just not going to be.
Yeah, it's not coming out far enough, is it?
Yes, and also to be able to tuck this fold underneath this one, you also have volume. It's necessary to have volume here. So if your hood is here too tight, you won't be able to stretch this out that way to tuck this underneath.
Yeah, I got a bit carried away this afternoon.
Yeah, so that's just but these are the perfect measurements, and what I show you, and I'm going to, you will going to receive the perfect measurements, and once you redo your designs, that's going to be fine.
Right, I love this one though. Brilliant.
I love it too. I must say that I'm in love with this design, so it's really very nice to teach it. Thank you. I'm glad. Okay. Thank you. So if you have any questions, any requests that I can see your head, then speak now, please. Now it's the time to speak. Otherwise, I will just before we.
Hello, Sophia.
Hello.
It's Jeannie.
Jeannie, yes.
Yeah, I just wondered, do you ever line your hats, or I mean, how do you finish them off?
I don't line most of my hats. I never line. I do line my sometimes my fedora style hats, but the reason, to be honest with you, is I love the natural breathing of the material, and every time I put lining in it, that's just not happening. And unless you have some problems with itchiness or anything else, then you can do it. But I don't usually do it, but I do sew a headband inside it often, just to make it nice, feel nicer. But everything you manipulate on a felt hat, this is what I find, at least, that every extra material that is not felt that you're adding on it takes something away from the beautiful properties of the felt. So what I like about the felt hats is that basically they felt is non-slip, so it's never slips off your head. So even it doesn't have to be tight, and still it never blows. The wind doesn't blow it off, for example. So it stays very securely. Once I put a headband in it, that's a different situation. Also, what I find is that I like that it takes up the shape of my own head. So, the felt, I can also stretch for my customers. It's really important that I can stretch a little bit if it's too tight for them, or I can make it a little bit tighter. But if I have a headband in it, you have to be very precise with the measurements, with the sizes. And so I have only medium, large, and small hats, and they fit medium hats fit almost everyone, unless you have a very small head and so that's why I don't like to really use, you know, other like headband.
Okay. And if you have to stretch one, do you dampen it or do you stretch it dry?
It depends how much I have to stretch it. So if I have to just stretch it a little bit, it's just like a half a centimeter that it's somebody says, yeah, it's almost the right size, but a little bit tight. Then I just put my hand in it like this. Like this, and I go like this when it's dry. And that's a great thing, because if I have to wet a hat again, that's, you know, it can get out of shape. So I don't like it. But if it's necessary, if it really needs to be stretched, and the thing is with this, you see, the problem is with these folds is that if the hat is small, you don't only need to stretch these measurements, but you also have to make the whole proportion of the hat slightly bigger. So then I just have to, you know, steam it and make a new hat, basically. So that's
okay.
That's
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sophia?
Yes.
Here. Can you show us the fourth hat, the fourth design that you were talking about?
Yes, I can. I just need to unfortunately I don't have a very good photo of it, but it's a very nice I have to share my screen. I did show you the first day. It's one. Oh no, that's not the one. Let's see, was this one? And actually, the reason why I don't want to show it to you, so this is just a moment. I'm going to give you homework. And so this is just the fourth design I wanted to show you is part of a homework. And so I just quickly, this was only for you, I just quickly take it away. There are several ways to go about that design. And I just want to show you a couple of ways how you can make your own. So the fourth design is something that you have to add your own elements to it. So let's, as we are talking about it already, I want you to just basically, I am going to finish this story. So I am going to leave you with a homework for the fourth design. And the homework will start like this. So we are basically running around trying to figure out what to do with these bumps on the head. So we have a bigger bump lower and another bump somewhere up there, and then we have the crown. So what can we do with all these elements of the design? And now what I want to do is I want to create, I want to suggest a different way of utilizing this larger bump. And the way we are going to do it is just, if I turn it like this, you can see it better. We are just going to push it inside the head and massage it completely away underneath the head like this. And then so my question for you is, this doesn't look at all nice because of a small, I have a small hood and this is already folded. But once you have volume here to start like, so we are going to start like this. And I would like you to come up with an idea. How do you continue from here? So I'm just, what can you do with this? So if you want to tuck away this big bump underneath your underneath the crown, let's say, just like I did here, what could you do on the top? What kind of elements could you add to come up with an interesting design? Something that is a bit unusual, something that is slightly out of balance, because being out of balance is really unusual. And of course, if you don't come up with a solution, then I will going to show it to you. But I would like to ask you to think about this. And when we meet 2 weeks from now and we have a follow-up session to check on your progress and check on your designs that you are going to make, on your finished designs, then it would be wonderful if you could suggest that to just let me see what you have come up with, what kind of ideas. So I've given you lots of ideas how to make folds and work away that area. So what is your solution to this problem? This is the, so we just talked in the, maybe I show it to you on the red one because it's a little bit bigger. So what we're going to do is we are going to tuck this inside. So just make this kind of curved fold by utilizing this big curve and build something up from here, okay? Mm-hmm. This is my homework for you. It looks very silly, but this is the whole idea. Okay, this curve, these folds don't exist. So the only fold we have here is this single fold created by tucking the big bump underneath the crown. So please come up with some solutions and ideas. And I'm very curious to see what kind of sculpting techniques you will use, and very curious to see what kind of shapes you will be creating. And then I'm going to show you my solution to this interesting situation with the bump disappearing under the crown. So let me go back to the chat quickly and check before we go. And so no more questions. So if you have more questions for me, then I'm just still waiting. And if not, then I'm going to close the session. And I am going to send you the recording of the second. Oh, actually, I uploaded the recording of the first session already on YouTube. So I'm going to send you the link, and tomorrow you will receive the link of the second recording as well. So both recordings you will receive tomorrow. I'm sorry. It will be already up on YouTube. So you can't watch the recording on Zoom, the first recording yet. So if for some reason I cannot upload it tomorrow, the second recording, then I will just give it to you, the recording to the Zoom. But the other Zoom recording, the recording of the first session doesn't exist on Zoom anymore because I have to remove it. I don't have enough space to storage space. Zoom doesn't allow me to store so much video material for them. So I have to download it and upload it to YouTube. So
Sophia, could you tell us what day you're thinking we're going to meet in 2 weeks?
Yes, so it's, oh, sorry, I haven't told you that. Sunday, no. It will be Sunday.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes. So mark it on your calendar. 2 weeks from now, Sunday, we are going to meet on Zoom exactly at the same time, so 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This is going to be a shorter session, a follow-up session, and we are going to talk about template modification, and I'm going to look at your results. And in the meantime, during these 2 weeks, I'm available for you for questions, for any kind of advice. So you can send me emails, you can send me photos, and so keep working. It's really, really important that you finish these designs, at least in a way that, you are, that I don't, as I say, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just try to make something out of it. And if you don't do this in a 2-week period, then all this information will go out of your head, and basically you will have to start from zero once again. So 2 weeks is about the time that if you are busy with it from time, you don't have to be busy all the time, but within 2 weeks you will not forget, and you will still have a kind of feeling for shaping. And this is what I want, that you have a feeling for shaping, because that's the most important thing. Is I'm happy to give you these designs, but I know that everybody deep down in their heart want to create their own. And that's really, really important. But this is my inputs for you to start up the process. So I want to thank you so much for all your effort and being here. And I leave you with a lot of excitement. I'm really curious to see what you are creating. And I will be in touch via email. So once again, so just, from time to time, I will send you an email and we will be in touch. And you can also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email and ask me. So thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful Sunday evening or afternoon, and see you in 2 weeks. Keep working on your designs.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Sophia.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.